Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of October 19th through the 25th. And during that time, we have several moon energies that will move through the week. First is the waning crescent. And of course, that's a really good time of surrender, rest, and healing. So make sure you're taking that time to get that extra rest and kind of work through anything that you've been going through in your previous cycle. Kind of let it go. Then we move into the new moon, which is 21st, 22nd, around in there, kind of depending on where you are. And sometimes that energy can linger around for a couple of days. But a new moon is about fresh starts and new beginnings, a good time to put the past behind you, see, you've done the evaluation to see what you want to start working on for this next cycle. So you're starting to put those things into action, new decisions, new projects, that sort of thing. We then move into the waxing crescent energy, which is just a time of kind of heightened awareness, a good energy for getting those things accomplished during that the new things that you've started during the new moon. It's a good time to buckle down and get those things done. So pay attention to those moon energies as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Scorpio. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is a new romantic cycle begins. All right, let's see what the Scorpios have going on for romance in the week. As I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder for you is that you pay attention to the synchronicities in the universe. So, the universe is always speaking to all of us in different ways, and it could be a number of different ways. Sometimes it's through an animal that you encounter that maybe you don't see every day. It could be repeating number patterns. That's one that happens to me quite a bit. It could be a song that you overhear on the radio, even just a little snippet of a song. I know there's been times when I've been kind of paging through, driving in my car, paging through the radio station to find something I want, and you hear those little snippets of songs that come out, and sometimes those just you'll hear a lyric that it's like something you needed to hear at the moment, right? Could be overheard conversations. Imagine you're walking down the street and there's people talking and coming towards you. You're not a part of their conversation, but just some little snippet that you pick up, that is said can sometimes just be a way of the universe is a very interesting place when it comes to messaging. But those are the little breadcrumbs that are out there for you to follow that shows you kind of clarity on your unique path. So that is just my fun weekly reminder for you. All right, let's get into this reading. Scorpio, October 19th through the 25th, a new romantic cycle begins. Let's see what you guys have going on. All right, your present energy, Scorpio, is the Seven of Swords. So some sort of deception or something. This is our card of being cunning and crafty, theft, hidden agenda, that sort of thing. So is there something going on, with you or with your love life? Is there something, is there some hidden agenda? Is there a hidden agenda you have, or maybe that your partner has, or someone that you're just meeting? So you may want to pay attention to that, since that's kind of your present energy right now. Let's see how this goes. Your current situation. Okay, interesting. Four of Wands here is really our card of weddings and celebrations. So is there some sort of proposal? Is there some sort of hidden agenda when it comes to a proposal? And maybe it's kind of on your mind, and I tell you what I'm thinking of is that if you, let's say someone wants to propose, and so they're kind of going about things in not in their normal way because they're trying to set something up for you. But of course it gets your hackles up because you're like, why is this person worried about this thing right now? Like maybe a little trip planning, like, why are we going on this long weekend now? And so you're kind of wondering, like, what is this craftiness? What is this thing? What is going on? Could be that. It could be that maybe someone is in a cheating situation where there is some sort of theft of a romantic partner. So if that's you, you may want to look into that, pay attention to that. But yeah, I'm getting some sort of cunning craftiness when it comes to and swords are about communication. So these two together, ugh, I don't know. I don't know if it's, let's see how the cards come out. It's not looking great right now, but let's see how it comes out. At the root of this particular situation is the Five of Cups. So a little bit of grief. And now it maybe this is starting to get a little bit cemented. Is there some cheating situation? Did you discover, were you with someone that was cheating and you didn't know they were cheating? That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Is there was some sort of hidden agenda there that you weren't even aware of? Like, were some of you dating a married person that you didn't think was married? I'm kind of getting that vibe here for some reason. So yeah, the root of this is some grief and you're upset about it. I would be too. Someone's been lying about something. And I feel like it does have to do with some sort of previous partnership or something. You can clarify in the comments if I'm picking up on that correctly. Let me know, of course. But yeah, some sort of hidden agenda is going on here, and at the root of it is you're feeling some grief about it. Maybe something you learned, something you found out. What let's see, what in your recent past has been the moon. So maybe you did have some sort of feeling. This isn't completely new because the moon is one of our mystery cards of like things that are uncovered in the night. So this is about really trusting your intuition and your dreams and things like you just have that little feeling. You got that feeling, and I feel like that's what makes this not a new thing. And of course, it's a new romantic cycle. Is it not the positive cycle? Interesting. It isn't always positive. So what's on your mind is the Six of Swords. So moving forward in a very calm manner with new thoughts, new ideas. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And I'm just noticing that we're 4, 5, 6, 7 here anyway. Just moving right through the path, right through whatever this is going on. It's like each step, it's not taking long for them to happen. For each step of like, it's like discovery, reaction, change, momentum, things that are happening very quickly. But on your mind is like, what's in the future? What do I look forward to now? And I'm going to do this in a very calm way. Almost like finding this out is definitely changing you, but it's definitely making you look towards the future, and not in a bad way. It's like, okay, well, this has to stop and now let's move ahead. Let's just move on. What is just ahead of you is the Chariot. Yeah, getting ready to make a move. Our Chariot card isn't about moving, it's about executing some move that you're kind of gathering the information on. So I'm not shocked at all to see this, because I do feel like you will make a move about this. um and it is a new romantic cycle beginning. So it could have kind of be out with the old and with the new. There may be a new person that comes about, but you're definitely making a move. And if it's in the romantic realm, that is what it is, because you've been a little disappointed here with something, but you're ready to make a move towards something positive. And that's always a good thing. It's better to find out now than 10 years from now, right? That's kind of the thing when it comes to that. In your advice position is the Wheel of Fortune. Yep, I've seen this card a lot in this in these readings for this week, and it makes me think that as a collective, we're all kind of being confronted with things that we kind of didn't see coming. It's like, how your life can change on a dime. A phone call can change your life. A sentence can change your life if someone says the right or wrong thing. So I feel like the advice is just to know that this is the way things evolve. This is the way things change. The other thing I like to say is, when you do have a change and it seems to be negative at the moment, you may look back 5 years from now and think, oh, thank God that happened, because of that thing. And let me just give you a scenario. This may not be your scenario, but I'm going to give it. Because that person was cheating on me, it caused me to go to the library that evening where I met this other person. You see what I'm saying? So there's like a cause and effect there, but sometimes it's just the universe pushing you in a different direction, because you may be a little out of step. But yeah, the advice is just to accept the Wheel of Fortune, to accept that things evolve, to accept change, to accept that your life today may be completely different tomorrow. And that's just really the way it goes for all of us. What is beyond your control this week is, yeah, kind of looking back on the past, and maybe looking back, with the Nine of Wands is kind of our wounded warrior looking back on where we've been, um, what came to fruition, uh, what we missed. It's just kind of that evaluation phase. And so you don't do it again, lessons learned. And it's kind of beyond your control to do that looking back this week. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Emperor. So, stability. This will be your big question of the week. Is stability your secret desire, or are you trying to avoid stability? Um, and this brings us 2 4s right now. So we've got this 4 and this one. You may want to look up angel number 44, see if that means anything to you. I'm looking around for other numbers. Yeah, 44. But the Emperor is definitely our stable leader, someone who's a builder, someone who gets things done. And are you trying to avoid being in that energy, being that in that leading energy, and that, being that stable? And there's really no wrong answer there. Some people aren't really ready for that sort of stability yet, and that's fine too. But this will be your big question of the week. So go ahead and answer it, and then live with your own answer. It may be different for different Scorpios. Some of you may want to be in a very stable life situation, especially when it comes to your romantic life. And some of you may not. Some of you may want to be out there dating, kind of playing the field, seeing what's out there. Again, it'll be different for different Scorpios, but make that decision. That'll be your big question of the week. And your outcome this week is the Page of Pentacles. So some new path in the material realm. And I just instantly got a thought of some of you will, be maybe moving in, not today, not this week, but it might be the start of something that's a change in your material environment. A lot of times this could be just new money coming in, or just a new path in the financial, but I'm almost feeling material, new path in your material world. So it could be that, yeah, you may end up meeting someone out of this calamitous type situation. For some of you, that's, I'm reading. For some of you, this is not the reading, right? Again, you always have to take what resonates, but for some of you, there's been some sort of deception and sadness, and you're thinking about the future, about how you're going to move forward. You're looking back, also looking at those mistakes. So, and it could be that you just meet someone new because of some material thing. Like I use the example of the library. Perhaps you're both out shopping for a new sofa and you discover each other. I don't know why I'm saying that. Leave me a comment if that makes sense to you. What is hidden from you this week, Scorpio, is the King of Pentacles. And I've seen the King of Pentacles be hidden in other readings this week also. So control over the material, not your forte. This could be um, kind of having control over your material, your financial. That's really just not a big concern for you this week. And you may want to just take a peek at that because of that, because of you've got these other distractions going on. Just make sure you paid all the bills and everything's good, because I feel like because that's hidden, that just tells me that there may be something that you're ignoring that you shouldn't be, because you have a lot going on. I don't blame you, but even if you have a lot going on, you still have to pay the phone bill. Just saying. All right, let's take a look here for final message from the Soul Oracle deck as a new romantic cycle begins. And I do see this eventually as a positive. It may not be a positive right now, but like I said, sometimes a thing has to happen in order to push you in a different direction towards more positivity. So we'll see if that makes sense for some of you. All right, final message here from the Soul Oracle deck says, laugh at your demons. Because we all have those, don't we? You have to kind of laugh at demons that led you down this wrong path, and meeting of whatever this person that's bringing you some deception and grief here. And you could have been, you could have celebrated this earlier, but it was false, right? It wasn't. If you have someone lying to you, it's not what you thought it was. And sometimes that happens. And again, sometimes it just pushes you into a more positive place later. It's hard to see now while you're in it. So get through it. Make sure you're paying your phone bill and take a breath. And this too shall pass. All right, let's get, what should you do in the way of self-care? Self-care for Scorpio this week. as they go through this. And the card that you get is the card of change, perfect with this Wheel of Fortune, which is exactly what that means. A resistance to change is a resistance to life itself. Open your heart and mind to new beginnings. And I feel like that's what you're headed for there. You know, it is some sort of change. It's how we evolve, we learn, we live and learn. I mean, that really is it. So when it comes to your romantic cycle, for some of you, this will be about a new young relationship. It'll be about maybe a more stable relationship, and there's some learning there. There's been some sort of deception and sadness, and it doesn't always have to be cheating deception. It could just be that they're not being who you think they are, right? They're putting up a front or something. And sometimes in relationships, you have to break those things down and really get to the real person. And sometimes it's just fear where people don't allow you to see exactly who they are. But if you can work with your partner on that and let them know that you're accepting, that you will accept exactly who they are. And sometimes that takes some time. So that's different progress and different relationship phases could have to do with that. So, Scorpio, I wish you the best of luck with this. Of course, laugh at your demons this week and accept change, because that's life. That's how we live and we grow. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a message down below and let me know. Did I hit on anything here for you? Was there something that I missed, or do you have any questions? I'd be happy to answer those also. I do readings every week, so come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here that pops up for you. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit like and subscribe on my channel. I would really appreciate that. It just helps push my channel out there. But also, most importantly, Scorpio, it'll help you find me next week. So good luck with this. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.